Right, I think this is going to be a very interesting one. Genetics matter a lot, but just not in the way that most people think. If genetics meant everything, the gyms would be empty. You wouldn't need to go to the gym. You've either got good genetics or you've got bad genetics. That's fine. Unlucky. If they didn't matter at all, everyone would be in the gym. And if everyone worked as hard as each other, everyone would be Mr. Olympia. But the thing is, neither of those two extremes are true. So let's stop coping in either direction and get things straight. So when people say genetics, they mean either one of three things, all right? Number one, they either mean structure. Two, they mean response. Three, they mean ceiling. But then they blend them together like one big invisible villain, which is not. Each different component will work differently to each other. Structure is all about your skeletal framework, your bone length, your joint width, where your muscles insert and your limb proportions. You absolutely cannot change these, no matter what. These are the things that, if we ignore physiques and aesthetics, structure and skeletal framework is one of those things that stop certain people from hitting a depth on a barbell squat. They lean too forward or their ankles come off the ground. That comes from too long of a femur length. So they have to lean forward, or they have to do a low bar variation to get the same depth as somebody else with a high bar squat. That's structure. Muscle insertions, two people do a double bicep pose. One person's got a very nice bicep peak. One person doesn't, and it's just flat. Genetics. Mine's saying, actually. Does mine look any good? Don't know. The lighting's not that great. And that causes a lot of variation in two people doing the exact same thing, because certain muscle insertions on different length bones, that causes a lot of variation between two people doing the exact same thing in the exact same routine. Because we've got to consider, if someone's clavicles are wider, their chest and back will look slightly different. Their shoulders will look different. If someone's muscle insertions are different, their muscles can pop more or not. That's all genetics. But the key distinction is it determines shape. If we're talking physique, it just determines shape. It does not determine skill, consistency, hard work. Your structure could be absolutely amazing. You know, wide clavicles, you got nice bicep peaks, short femurs, you can squat heavy, but you're only going to be able to exploit that if you work hard, if you learn skill and technique, if you're consistent. Otherwise, it don't matter. Somebody with an absolute crap structure can look 10 times better than you if you don't put your structure to use. All right, number two, the response. This is where things get interesting. And personally, this is my favorite. This is my favorite part about genetics. So response is how your body is going to be reacting to training and nutrition. Some people gain muscle faster. Some people gain muscle slower. Some people recover faster. Some people recover slower. We can't change that genetically. That's just our response. For example, as well, if you go out for a meal with your friend, skinny friend, and you probably already know where I'm going with this example, they can eat crap tons. They can eat so much and they don't put on weight. That's also response. Some people lose fat more easy. Unlucky for you. Response in itself has 4 influences I will give off the top of my head. If I miss anything out, drop it down in the comments below. Let me know. Educate me. Muscle fiber composition. So type 1 versus type 2 distribution. That can massively influence how you recover. Your hormonal environment. Do you eat well? Depending on how you eat and sleep, your hormones will fluctuate. If you're a man or a woman, your hormones will fluctuate. Are you natural or not? That will massively, dramatically influence your response across the board. Satellite cell activity. When you're recovering, how much satellite cell activation has happened post-training from the stimulus you've given your muscle? If you are activating more satellite cells, you will recover more, you will be stronger, you can push harder naturally. Unnaturally, dramatically more. And this is a big one. Number 4, myostatin expression. Myostatin is a protein that limits muscle growth. If you have high myostatin, you can work so hard but gain so little, unfortunately. If we take examples like Ronnie Coleman, I might be wrong on this, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he had a myostatin deficiency. But the thing is, there's so many different things that go into response, and here's the catch, all right? It's not completely binary. There's so many different things that make up a response. Some people can have more satellite cell activation than others, but myostatin's high, so they don't respond as well as somebody else would to hypertrophy and power training. But I think it's a very key distinction to make, guys. We cannot attribute poor progress to poor genetics. Very, very few people on this planet will reach their genetic response potential. How far are you actually pushing to see your maximum response potential? You underperform your genetics very easily. Not many people go that far to genuinely figure it out. So before blaming genetics, think of the basics. Have you tracked your food properly? Have you been consistent? Is your water high? Slept well? Ask those questions first, because I guarantee no matter what your genetics are, those are the most important factors, because those are the factors that you can control. But all right, number 3. Okay. I think this is the part that a lot of people get really excited over. Your ceiling. What is my natural limit? A lot of people ask. Your genetic ceiling, your natural ceiling, is the maximum adaptation that your body can support. Your biology will agree to support. This can be influenced by your frame length, like we said before, your hormone production, natural or not, muscle belly length as well, and your recovery capacity. Can you push harder for longer? Can you go gym the next day after legs and your DOMs are all right? You can still train hard. But the thing that genetics doesn't determine at all is how close do you actually get to your ceiling? Because a lot of people quit before they get there. Most people in their life, they'll think they got to their ceiling. They think they will. But they're actually about 60 to 70% of the way there. A lot of people don't realise, there's a graph to explain this. Over time, how much progress you're going to be making will slow down, okay? In the beginning, you've got newbie gains. Right at the beginning of the journey, gains are skyrocketing, going up. The moment we're getting a few years down the line, your progress will start stalling. A lot of people quit, but they don't realise by dropping out, even though it's going to take them another 5 years just to make a little bit of progress, that progress is dramatic on an already well-trained physique. You notice. So before people give up, it's very, very important to consider. Genetics does not determine your daily routine, your effort, your food choices, your discipline, your skill development, and how much you put into wanting to better your technique. Your training intensity, it does not dictate how hard you are going to work. If this was all a game, genetics is your playing field. It does not determine how you play. And the only thing you got to worry about is genetics only becomes an extremely important factor at the elite level, okay? If you go gym because you want to look good at the beach, if you go gym because you're trying to impress your girlfriend, if you go gym because you want to look good on a night out, genetics is irrelevant. Genuinely, it's not important. You don't need to know about it. Just train, do well, stay consistent. Genetics is only important at the elite level. Are you a bodybuilder? Are you a powerlifter? Are you taking this further than the average person? Because then when we get to that stage at the elite level, everyone is dialed in, everyone is eating well, training hard. No one gives a crap, okay? No one gives a crap about anything else in their life apart from either looking the best or being the strongest. At that point in time, where every other variable is maxed out, genetics becomes key. If somebody's training their ass off and so are you, you're both competing at the Mr. Olympia. Now genetics matters a lot. Now muscle insertions are important. Now your frame is important. Everything matters at that stage. But that's not the reality for everyone, okay? How many billions of people on this planet, how many people make it to that sort of level? So what I'm trying to say is, there's a lot of different factors that go into genetics, but they become important past a certain point. Until then, everything, unfortunately, is down to you and your effort. It is not down to some lucky draw that you were born with good genes. And I think that's why genetics are really comforting, because they remove the responsibility. You think, okay, I might have good genetics, I'll be fine. But the reality is that will save you to a certain point. But don't let it be an excuse to not work hard. Come on, guys. So the question you've got to stop asking is, do I have good genetics? And the question you've got to start asking is, have I exhausted my potential? That is power. And that's all you need.